And now we're going to disclose that we're going to talk about certain matters for closed session, including personnel, sale or lease of property, probable or imminent litigation, and collective negotiations. So at this point, we'll have our second opportunity for visitor statements. Is there anyone in the greater visitor gallery that would like to speak? And seeing none, we have discussion items requested.
Laura, do you want to speak to the Skyward email?
I do. So I stand on the corner with my daughter to wait for the school bus on Washington, and Washington is very busy. You know, it's like the thoroughfare from Brookfield to the school. And we're at Washington and Vernon. The school bus picks her up. The school bus is going west. Cars do not stop for that school bus, even when the flag is out. And I watch, and it's not only the students, it's parents. So the other day, this bus driver was blowing the horn, waving her arm, and it was a parent who drove right past that. Now, what concerns me is perpendicular to that bus on Vernon, on the southeast corner, 12 children line up for Brook Park. And that bus comes about 5 minutes after the Timothy Christian bus comes. And sometimes when the Timothy Christian bus stops and puts their flag out, they cross to get to that other corner. It's not the only place. On Monroe, the Brook Park bus comes, and again, our members of this community are ignoring when when the stop sign is out. And so I don't know if we can just put out a kind of, please remember that when the stop sign on the school bus is out, you have to stop. It's, you know,
How about law?
It's a law, right?
Well,
It's a law. I find
Let
it
me
is
ask you a
dangerous.
question though, Laura. As much as some of our community members think we hired a consultant would write whatever they want, if you read the traffic study, half the traffic on that street has nothing to do with Riverside Brookfield High School. So your observation, their parents or whatever, we're not sure, but I mean, it's the Brookfield police
Right.
that should police if people are violating the law and not stopping for a school bus, right?
So
Well,
my-
you could do both.
I'm just asking that we put a reminder out.
Okay.
I know these are Brookfield High School students. I can
Okay.
see them in the car.
Why
Okay.
don't we do this? Why don't we direct the superintendent and his staff to talk about this? Contact the police chief in Brookfield and see what the best way is to address this problem. If the police chief in Brookfield
Yeah.
would concur that perhaps the school put something out to
We could also
people
put a
that-
reminder in our newsletter.
Right, and it's a very specific instance, so all the police have to do is drive by.
Right.
Well, but I've seen this many times. So
No, I'm
what I'm
just
saying
saying.
is just a reminder, just like a
Sure.
public service
Okay.
Not a
comment.
problem.
Please
So also
remember.
talk to the
So-
parents in that area and have them call the police too. If more people call the police will be there.
We'll address it. We could put out a reminder in our newsletter. Not a
Yeah.
problem.
I'm not suggesting it may have came off, I'm not suggesting your idea is bad. I'm suggesting that the right, the Brookfield police should be contacted because they're the ones who really can do something about it, that's
Yeah,
all.
I am concerned because Brookfield, I don't know that Riverside has buses, but Brook Park.
There's
the
no
kids
buses
get-
in Riverside.
Oh, there are no buses?
No.
Okay. But in Brookfield, the kids are as young as first grade waiting for the buses.
We understand.
No, it makes sense, and what I was trying to say is,
Yeah.
it's a very specific period of time. It's
Right.
a very specific location.
Right,
The police should be happy to go by, check it out.
yeah.
And this is an area west of the Salt Creek, east of the Veteran Circle.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All
And,
right, thank
Mr.
you.
Dr. Keen, with this expulsion policy, how this will impact us, the legislation was recently just passed that puts limitations on the amount of suspensions and expulsions that public schools can do for discipline infractions, and you have to have some additional support for that. That policy does not go in effect until next school year, or that legislation does not go in effect, so that will have some impact. And what they're basically wanting schools to do is use suspension or expulsion as a means of last opportunity to provide discipline unless there's a significant safety hazard. And so it's basically forcing schools to do more in-school suspensions, lunchroom detentions, Saturday schools, things like that, so that students aren't missing opportunities of instruction and if they do have to be suspended, providing those suspended students with opportunities for makeups. Some school districts have, after a first offense of a suspension, that maybe you can't make up work for a suspension, so that would hopefully be held over a student's head that, hey, you want to make good choices, because eventually you're going to start falling behind. And so what this legislation does is that, schools have almost put kids in a bad situation where they almost have made it impossible for them to succeed. So it will have an impact on all public schools.
If the board would like, we could ask if anything further on John's issue comes into the media or you run across, you can include it to us in the update, and you can also inform us about the bus situation through the update process.
Okay.
Okay, with that, we're going to move into closed session at 8:20.
Resolved that the Board of Education Township High School District 28, Cook County, Illinois, enters closed session for the purpose of considering appointment, employment, or dismissal of employees, sale or lease of land, probable imminent litigation, and collective negotiations.
Second.
Second, Mr. Jepson. And the vote?
Mr. Cindy?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. 8:25, open session is now over.